Joining us for a conversation is Ari Sussman of Collective Mining, Colombia's newest exploration company. Mr. Sussman, thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me again, Maurice, and I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, sir. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today as Collective Mining has just announced its most significant news to date on the company's flagship Guayabales Project located in Colombia. Before we begin, Mr. Sussman, please introduce us to Collective Mining and the exciting opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Sure. Collective Mining, as we discussed previously, is a child born out of the sale of Continental Gold to Zijin Mining in 2020. Difference being the mandate of my original company, Continental Gold, was to look for high-grade veins. This was put together to look for porphyry and porphyry-related style deposits and targets in Colombia. Two projects make up the company. The flagship, as you mentioned, is called the Guayabales Project, and then we have a secondary project named San Antonio. Both are very close to each other and are located in the mining-friendly department of Caldas, Colombia. Mining-friendly because we're sitting literally contiguous to the Marmato deposit, which is owned by a company named Gran Colombia, which has been in continuous production for more than 500 years.
Now, Collective Mining is currently embarked on a 20,000 meter drill program on the flagship Guayabales project. I know you want to get into the exciting press release details, but to truly appreciate the value proposition before us, can you please reacquaint us with the Guayabales and share with us the goals on your current exploration program?
Absolutely, Maurice. So look, we decided to take the risk and bet on geology and do true grassroots exploration. So the Guayabales project, the vast majority of it has seen little to no modern day exploration. Okay, so we gridded it. We did a ridge and spur soil sampling program covering so far about 25% of the project. We've done airborne geophysics and really some good old fashioned ground truthing. And the 20,000 meter program that you mentioned for the year, the aim of that was a shotgun approach program. We generated 8 exciting targets on the project, and we were going to try, at least the business plan was to try and drill test all 8 of them if we could by the end of the year. I'm not quite sure we're going to make it because we have 2 exciting discoveries already, really exciting discoveries under our belt, one which we'll talk about today. But that was the business plan to blanket the project in a similar fashion to which a major mining company might do, and then decide where to focus for 2023. However, I'm pretty confident after what we'll discuss today that our where we'll be focusing will be fairly obvious to your viewers.
Well, I'm smiling from ear to ear. Mr. Sussman, take us to the Guayabales project and onto the Apollo target, where Collective Mining has just announced its most significant news to date. Sir, what can you share with us?
Okay, so look, Apollo is let's start with what it is, then we'll talk about the results. I mean, Apollo is a porphyry-related breccia target with overprinting late-stage porphyry veins. Okay, what that means to the layman is that a porphyry system has come up, so porphyry intrusion fingers have come up. The porphyry itself, where we're drilling, was blown out or overprinted by a breccia. And then at a later stage in its evolution, high-grade porphyry-related veins overprinted the system. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we announced the results from the very first drill hole ever into the Apollo target, where we drilled 87 meters of around 2.5 grams per ton gold equivalent. And today we have 2 more results out. The highlight being hole number 2. We drilled 207.15 meters at 2.68 grams per ton gold equivalent. And then hole 1W, which was a wedge off the original hole from a few weeks ago, we drilled 89 meters at 2.46 grams per ton gold equivalent. What makes this system look remarkable is we have now drilled from 2 different pads, and the drill holes are orthogonal or perpendicular to each other, meaning hole 2 went east-west, holes 1 and 1W went from north to south, and we're clearly in a large system. Potentially more interesting, 1W actually failed to continue to its actual target depth. So we think that 89-meter interval would have been significantly larger if the drill was capable of going further, but we ran into some technical problems, and that will be followed up further. I think this has a chance of becoming a world-class system, Maurice, and why I say that is we have announced results from 3 holes, 1, 1W, and 2, and we have press released visual results from 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have 6 holes total showing us the system so far. And what we see is a porphyry-related breccia system that is measuring at least 400 meters in strike by 100 meters across, sorry, my mistake, 300 meters in strike by 100 meters across by 400 meters vertical. It is open in every single direction based on what we're seeing. And one last thing I'd like to add for your viewers is we did press release, and I want to iterate again, holes 3 and 5, we press released 3, 4, and 5 visuals. 3 and 5 also both intersected more than 200 meters of continuous breccia mineralization. Obviously, we need to wait for the assay results to confirm the grades, but those holes look very good as well visually.
Well, let me be the first to say congratulations, sir. That's remarkable.
It's exciting.
It certainly is. Now, looking forward, how does today's announcement impact collective mining moving forward?
Look, we're going to be aggressive. I mean, we have a tiger by the tail here. We've just recently moved to 3 diamond drill rigs at Apollo, so all 3 drilling from 3 different pads. We are going to grow this thing vertically and along strike and across its width. That is the goal. There's a lot for us as a company to unpack geologically to get an understanding of this. And the reason I say that, it's a very positive thing. You know, my experience always says that big deposits or big systems in the world have more than one pulse of fluids that have dumped metal into the system. In this one, we have multiple pulses. Okay, so we have potentially 2 different phases of metal being dumped into breccia, and the breccia phase it's copper and silver with some gold, and then we have the 2 phases we believe of overprinting veining, both of which deposit high grades of gold, silver, some copper, as well as some lead, zinc in more minor quantities. So there are up to 4 pulses here of fluids being deposited, and that's why we're getting the great grades as well as the big nice widths. We see a lot of different things happening here, and we have a lot to learn and a lot of drilling to do.
Now, sticking with the Apollo target, and you referenced the 3 drill rigs, what further work are you doing there?
Okay, so we're expanding it. I mean, so look, I mentioned the Apollo, the discovery is what we call the main breccia, and that is the one I mentioned that's 300 meters by 400 meters by 100 meters across and open. Okay, but the actual target area of Apollo is 700 meters by 800 meters, which includes that main breccia, and it is open for expansion. In the Apollo target itself, you know, the whole area, we don't just see more potential for additional breccias, but also for porphyry systems themselves. Remember, the main breccia is a porphyry system that has been blown out or overprinted by breccia. So we think there's more to find here, and as a result, we're expanding the grid, you know, as we speak to expand the target because it's open in all directions. And let's see how far this goes and how much drilling we're going to end up doing. But I think it's going to be, you know, many meters, and we're going to generate a lot of excitement here for the foreseeable future.
Oh, that's music to my ears. Now, before we leave the Guayabales, where else is your team drilling?
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, you know, let's not forget about Olympus, right? So our first discovery, or our first major discovery, you know, at the Guayabales Project is from the Olympus target, which is located, you know, about 800 meters northwest of Apollo. It is different. That is more of a high-grade vein system overprinting porphyry. Okay, we don't have a breccia there yet, at least not yet. The discovery hole at Olympus was 302 meters at 1.11 grams per ton gold equivalent. In the next 2 weeks, we will announce the start of an underground diamond drill program. Your viewers might say, why underground? Is this a mine? No, it's not. But this is an area that we have artisanal mining operations, historical and some current. And so what we've done is we've gone and partnered with one of the largest local artisanal miners and have constructed a drill chamber underground, or almost completed constructing an underground drill chamber within their tunnels. This has proved beneficial in many ways. First, from our perspective, from a value perspective, we were able to channel sample their crosscut that the artisanal mine has into the system. And we announced very recently that we had a true horizontal width of this crosscut of 180 meters at about 1.15 grams per ton gold equivalent. So that is a true cut across the system where they developed it. But secondly, drilling from underground, we're dealing with mountainous topography, and if we can improve the angles that we are able to drill, which underground drilling will serve, we're going to expedite the understanding and the growth of the Olympus system. So the first underground drill chamber will start turning in the near term, as I mentioned, the next 2 weeks. And then the last piece of the puzzle, why I think this is so important, is we came to this project and the artisanal miners were there. They didn't just come on the back of our drill holes, they were there first. And we need to make sure that we have a symbiotic relationship with the miners. They need to trust us and we need to trust them. So building this relationship has been key. It's taken time, as one would expect, but we now have this very entrenched trust, and we're going underground. This will show them they can trust us. More importantly, they'll show them opportunities to potentially work with us in the futures. And lastly, health and safety. I mean, this is a critical problem, particularly for artisanal mines, and us being able to bring, first world knowledge on health and safety into the underground operation, but they currently do, will improve the lives of everyone. So it's a multifaceted approach. First drill starts turning in 2 weeks. We're then going to construct additional drill chambers, and I can see this growing to multiple underground platforms over the next 6 months. We're quite excited by what we're seeing there.
Sir, in terms of news flow, when can shareholders expect the next update on the Guayabales?
I think we're going to have news every 3 weeks or sooner. I mean, we're 3 rigs turning at Apollo, 1 soon to be 2 at Olympus. We're moving quickly. We do have, besides outstanding holes at Apollo, not including what was announced today, we have 3 reconnaissance holes from the trap target, which is another target that we did a 3-hole program at. Those results will be in September. But I think every 2 to 3 weeks for the balance of the year and all through next year, we will see news flow. So if you like newsy stories or newsy companies with lots of targets and lots of drilling, we're the one to take a hard look at.
All right, switching gears, let's get into some numbers. Mr. Sussman, please provide the capital structure for Collective Mining.
Sure. We have approximately 47 million shares outstanding, and we are currently trading at Canadian $3.50. We trade on the TSX Venture under the symbol CNL, and we recently announced we began trading on the OTCQX under the symbol CNLMF.
And just for the record, and you know this, sir, you and I speak privately offline, I am an active buyer of Collective Mining.
Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that.
All right. In closing, sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, look, I mean, we're in Colombia, so we've successfully permitted and built a mine in Colombia. There's a brand new president of the country as of 2 days ago. Okay, so as of the 7th of this month, a new government took over. And this is the first time in the country's history that a left-leaning president has taken power in that position. There's obviously been left-leaning governments at lower levels within the country. So this is, for a lot of people, it's concerning because it's something they're not used to. I personally am optimistic about it. The messaging out of the government has been straightforward. They want to transition to a clean energy economy. So, from our perspective, we have significant amount of copper in the Apollo discovery, so that will benefit the country, obviously, if we move to production in the future. And I think a more inclusive stance will benefit the people of Colombia. So, this is a question mark that people have been calling me about. I'm optimistic. I think it's not going to be without its challenges, like it always is, but we've been there and done that and know how to move and make things happen. And we always make sure that we spend equal amount of energy on ESG as we do on explorations. Because if the left doesn't work, the right won't go with it, and the right being the exploration, the left being the support. So, we'll continue to do our job well, and I think that doesn't keep me up at night, but that's what some investors have been asking about.
Last question. What did I forget to ask?
I think you covered it pretty much. I mean, this is, the exciting news is the big drill holes today, and, second and third hole into Apollo, and, look forward to continued excitement going forward. Hopefully we continue to report many more bulk intercepts at these types of grades, because these are really good grades and very long intercepts. Quite exciting.
Well, looking forward to it. Mr. Sussman, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and Collective Mining the absolute best, sir.
Thank you, Maurice. Always a pleasure to talk.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.